In this video I am talking about a Zeapon Micro 2 Plus slider. If you are here for the first time, my name is Pav, and on this channel I talk about all things photography and video. Cameras, lenses, tutorials, reviews and more. If this is something that you are interested in, then please consider subscribing. This time I am talking about this pretty smart slider from Zeapon. This is not necessarily a must-have for any videographer, but a tool that is very useful and in this case very practical, not just to get those super smooth sliding shots with, but also very portable. It is small. I received it from Zeapon for this review, however, I was not asked or paid to say anything specific about it. So this is my honest and 100% unbiased opinion about this slider. I have several sliders that I have bought before. All manual, all too long and all too big. Slider is just another piece of kit that I try to talk myself out of carrying in and out of the shoots just because it is too big and too heavy. Also, in my experience, it always takes several takes to get that perfect smooth shot. And to be honest, they always been too much hassle for what I was getting out of them. You can do pretty smooth panning shots with a gimbal, but there are times when you need super smooth motion and a movement consistency. This is when sliders like this come in. It comes in two versions, manual like this and motorized, but you can purchase the manual version and then buy the motor separately. I think it makes sense to get the motorized version and have that option if and when needed, and take the motor off if you want to use it manually. It is actually cheaper to buy both together than buying the motor separately after the fact. The motor really makes this slider stand out from the sea of others out there, and it also allows you to get those perfectly smooth sliding shots every single time consistently. The whole thing can take a pretty hefty load. When used on a flat surface like the ground or table, the max payload is 8 kilograms, and that's more than enough for a big cinema camera with extras, and it is 4.5 kilograms when used on the tripod. Still more than enough for a mirrorless camera in the cage with monitor and batteries and extras. It can also take the 4.5 kilogram payload at any angle, not just horizontal like this, but also on the angle or vertically this way. The slider weighs only 1.3 kilograms without the motor and 2 kilograms with the motor attached. It is a small slider, certainly portable enough to fit in a large camera bag. The feet unfold to give it more stability when placed on the flat surface and stop it from tilting at either end when carrying heavier cameras. It also has got the clever design when the whole length of the slider moves to give it more reach at either end. And the travel distance is 56 centimeters in the manual mode and 54 centimeters in the motorized setup. When used in manual mode, the traction has got a nice amount of resistance because it uses the belt to move the camera. It's not just on the tracks like with a lot of other sliders. This amount of resistance makes it easier to achieve those slider signature super smooth slides, but also allows you to use a fluid tripod head on top to add a bit of extra pan or tilt while moving the camera. It's also absolutely silent when used in manual mode. Well, almost. I need to add that there is no ball head included with the slider. Considering how cheap the basic ones are, it would be nice to have something to attach a small camera to it straight out of the box. So if you don't have a separate ball head or tripod head, you will need to buy one to attach the camera to it. You still need to get one if you already have a tripod and want to mount the slider to the tripod, as you will need the tripod head underneath for the slider and on top for the camera. I'd recommend mounting the slider to the tripod heads with longer plates than ball heads for more support anyway. It is a very simple system to take the manual belt off and attach the motor to the slider with its own magnetic clip-on belt. All there is the tension screw, magnetic clip and 2 screws to attach the motor to the slider. It takes about a minute to assemble and disassemble it, and there is no need for any tools. You can do it all with your hands. There's also no batteries included. You need one of these standard Sony NPF ONE+, to make it work. Good thing is that you can get them cheap, and these small ones, even though they can't power my Atomos Ninja 5 recorder for more than 10 minutes, they power this slider for hours. You can operate the slider's movement from the buttons on the slider as well as with the phone app. On the slider you can select one of the 3 speeds by pressing the power button once each time. Then you move the slider by pressing and holding the arrow buttons on top. There's a tiny amount of damping when starting and stopping, making the footage smooth from start to the end of the movement. It is almost silent in the slowest and middle speeds, but you can hear just a bit more when using the fastest speed. Very low motor sound, not a problem unless you are recording the sound right on the camera while using it. Even then the mic probably won't pick it up, or maybe it will. You can set the waypoints as well, so the slider only moves from certain point to the certain point. To do that, you position the slider at the starting point and press the power button twice until you hear the beep. Move the slider to the end position at the point B and press the power button twice again. Press the power button twice again to start the movement from point A to point B automatically. You can also loop the movement to go back and forth between the waypoints by pressing the power button and one of the directional arrows together once. To cancel the waypoint setup, you just press both directional arrows together until you hear the beep. All very simple to operate. You need the Zeapon Lab app to set the slider to work with your camera to do time lapses. The app is available for iOS and Android, but seems like all the effort went into the iOS version. I only have an Android phone and the app isn't actually available on Google Play Store at all currently. I had to download it from the Zeapon website instead, and after fighting with it for a bit, I've managed to get it working, kind of. I can control the slider movement manually, and it is actually brilliant for that because I can vary the speed from super slow to the faster while slider is actually moving. And that's about it. I couldn't set up the time-lapse properly or anything else really. Really disappointing, as it seems like iOS app has got more functions built in and it actually works. But as I don't have an iPhone, I can't actually use it. In a scheme of things, it's not a huge problem right now, and I'm sure that an Android app issues will be eventually polished out. The slider retails for $259 for the manual version, or for $445 with the motor. But the motor on its own cost $249. If you never intend to do motorized moves or time lapses, buying the manual option is the right choice. I personally love the consistency of using the motorized version. You can get exactly the same movement multiple times, the same speed and the duration, which makes it really useful when editing the clips together, as you don't ever get a mismatch of speeds that you have to adjust every time in post when putting or overlapping 2 sliding shots together. Conclusion, this is a very good slider. The motion is smooth enough even when shooting macro shots with it. Great payload, it can certainly take any mirrorless camera with a big lens and more, and it can be used not only horizontally but also vertically. The size makes it very portable and possible to fit inside your camera backpack or larger bag when moving about, and less of a chore to take it with you. Easy to assemble and use, and the only issue, the biggest issue I have, is the Android app, but hopefully this will be sorted out soon. Neat little slider, I really like it. And this is it from me. If you like this video, then please give me that thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. Comment below, follow me on Instagram for photos and videos from all of my reviews. And thank you for watching, and see you next time. I think it's called Zeapon, or Zippon, Zeapon, Zippon, Zippon. Whatever it's called that. Slider is just an it can also take it is a very low, it is though although it is very low, all very simple to operate. Once I can stop it.